5 years ago, when my father taught me how to trade, he shared with me 7 brutally honest truths that were game-changing for my trading success. These truths have helped me become a consistently profitable trader month to month over the last 5 years of my trading journey. And in fact, I've made a little bit over $430,000 over the last 7.5 months, which is a cumulative rate of return of almost 240% on my account. So in this video, I'm going to break down these 7 brutally honest truths, and I'm going to tell you not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. And my father literally sat me down 5 years ago before he started teaching me how to trade and showed me these core principles that need to be behind your trading. And I'm also going to show you actionable steps on how to apply these principles correctly within your trading. And the first brutally honest truth is that indicators will not save you. When you go on tradingview.com or literally any brokerage or trading platform out there, you see so many different indicators, and it can be really overwhelming as a beginner trader to process all of them and to decide which ones you should actually use in your trading. I mean, you have the awesome oscillator. Like, what is that? You have the Shan Kroll stop. Like, you have all these fancy names, fancy indicators, and ultimately all they do is distract you and overwhelm you. In trading, you need to understand that simplicity is always better than complexity. And I know you might feel like having more indicators on your chart or using fancy indicators makes you sophisticated and makes you smart. It gives you this confidence where you're like, yeah, my trading is super complicated and that's why it's really good. No, it is the opposite. The more indicators that you stack on your charts, the more confused you're going to be. Imagine you have 5 different indicators. You have RSI, Bollinger Bands, MACD. You have that awesome oscillator. You're using EMAs. You're using stochastics, right? It's going to lead you to have analysis paralysis, where you have so many things to consider on your charts. You have so many things telling you different things about price action. It's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be confusing. You want to keep your charts as clean as possible. Remember, clean charts equals clean decisions. And in my opinion, I always say this in my videos, the simplest things in life are oftentimes the most brilliant. You don't want to be using complex indicators at all. In fact, I keep my trading as simple as possible. I literally use the 20 MA, I use the 200 period moving average, and I use volume. That is it. So I'm not going to go too in depth on how I use the 20 MA, the 200 MA, or volume. I actually teach all of it in my free 10+ hour course, which is genuinely better than most paid courses on the internet. You could start watching my free course in the description of this video. But, brief little overview. The main tool that I use is the 20 period moving average, and it is the ultimate trend following tool in existence. I use it primarily for uptrends and downtrends, where I want the 20 MA to be underpriced trending higher in an uptrend and overpriced trending lower during a downtrend. You could see how well prices respect the 20 MA when it's trending in one direction. And I also use it for reversal opportunities, where you can measure extension or how much a stock is overbought or oversold using the 20 MA, and you could spot reversal opportunities using it as well. So I teach this in my free course, like I said, but I also have another YouTube video on this channel where I go over exactly how to use the 20 period moving average in depth. So I highly recommend watching that. In a world where literally everyone uses fancy indicators, fancy price action principles, and they just overcomplicate everything in their trading, my greatest edge is the fact that I keep it simple. Number 2, your first priority and goal as a trader isn't to become profitable. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but hear me out. It is to become a break-even trader. This was literally one of the first things that my father taught me, and almost everyone that I meet, every beginner trader, they try to go from not knowing anything about trading, don't really have any experience, to becoming profitable. And you guys are skipping a very important step in the middle, which is becoming break-even. And this step is by far the most critical for your success, because what is a break-even trader? That is a trader who doesn't lose. And most people, when they hear break-even trader, they're like, oh yeah, but I'm not making making money. So what's the point? Yeah, you're not making money, but you're not losing money. And our number one goal as traders is to always conserve capital. Our second goal is to make money on that capital. But in order to learn how to preserve capital, you need to learn the skills and what's necessary to become a break-even trader. And when you learn these skills, which are risk management, limiting your losses, patience, consistency, that will make the process easier to then actually make money with trading, especially risk management and limiting your losses, right? If you want to be consistently break even, you have to be good at risk management and limiting your losses. And guys, that is like the primary reason on why I'm such a good trader. You watch me trade, I am amazing at limiting my losses and risk management. I'm totally okay with missing out on money as long as I protect my risk and I protect my capital. It's what makes me such a good trader, and it's because I'm really disciplined with it. I'm really good at limiting my losses. Most people don't understand that the best way to actually make more money in trading isn't to adopt more strategies, isn't to take more trades. It's to just limit your losses. If you limit the amount you lose, by the end of the week, the end of the month, you're going to make more money, right? And this is so important. This is kind of the process that you need to follow here. You got to go from a beginner trader to then a break-even trader where you're consistently not losing money. And then you go to profitable on really small risk. Then you scale your risk slowly, and then you become profitable on big risk. Yet almost everyone tries to go from beginner trader to profitable on big risk. It's not that simple, and you're skipping so many steps in the process. You have to first learn how to not lose money every single day. Then you have to learn how to be profitable on small risk. Then you scale that risk slowly as you develop consistency, and that's when you could start risking more money, and as a result making more money, becoming truly profitable, and having those big months that you desire. Number 3, and this is going to be a tough one to hear for some people, but stop blaming the market. Stop blaming external factors. And I see this all the time on social media, on YouTube, where people are like, oh, well, the market sucked today. Yeah, I lost money, but the market was horrible. It was a high impact news day. I couldn't trade. Oh, it was really volatile and I lost money because of the market. No, you lost money because of you. You are solely responsible for your success and your failure in trading. You have to put all of that responsibility on yourself. There is nothing stopping you from becoming profitable besides yourself, and you have to have that mindset. The market isn't on your side, nor is it against you. It simply holds up a mirror and reflects who you are as a trader. Your P&L, your progress, the way that you trade is a reflection of you. And the market is just the one that holds the mirror. And you have to respect the market as well. When you go into trading every day, you need that respect for the market, because if you show up greedy, you show up careless, you show up not really focusing on risk, you come in not really disciplined, you're kind of like whatever, you're risking random money on different trades, the market will destroy you. You have to have that respect where if you don't manage your risk correctly, the market is going to eat you up. You're going to lose all your money. And this is what happens, all too often to traders, where they think it's a piece of cake. They don't have that respect for the market. They show up and the market just eats them alive because they don't respect it. They just throw random money at random trades. They don't care about sizing their positions. They don't care about risk management. They're just focused on the money. And when you're only focused on the money and you're not focused on the process of becoming profitable, the market, it'll show you that. The market will destroy you. It'll take all your money, right? Versus if you show up patient, you show up disciplined, detached, calm, ready to follow your plan, you're not really focused on the money, you're just focused on trading the right way, the market will reward you. There are so many days where I would tell my mentorship students, I would tell myself that let's just be patient. Let's sit on our hands. Let's wait for the opportunities to come to us. Let's remain detached, disciplined, patient, and the markets will always reward you with a really nice setup. And as a result, you'll make money. Patience pays, and just take responsibility. Stop blaming external factors. Get to work. Improve as a trader. Don't be that guy or that person, that girl that just blames everything but themselves. Put that responsibility onto yourself. Understand that you are solely responsible for your success and your failure with trading. Number 4, and this is also going to be tough for some people, but copy and callouts will not make you you a profitable trader. And this is one of the first things that my dad taught me as well, because I paper traded for around 3.5 months when I first started trading. And I would sit next to my dad, look at his screen, watch his execution, understand his thought process, and I would literally copy his trades. Like, I was still paper trading, but I would look over his screen, I would take the same entry, take the same stop loss, look at his execution, do the same exact thing. And he told me that I shouldn't copy him. And when you're copying other traders, you don't actually learn yourself. And you oftentimes see this, most often with Discord groups, where one trader sends out an alert. They send their exact entry, their exact stop, their management, their execution, and all of the traders just copy that signal. That's not going to make you profitable, because you're just copying and pasting. You're not actually thinking for yourself. You're not actually following your trading plan or developing one in the first place. You're not developing your own style. You're just copying and pasting. However, there's a big difference between copying versus collaborating with other traders, but then independently considering those trade ideas yourself, right? So my dad told me that you could take the same trades as I do, but don't copy me. You could take the same idea, but you have to pick your own entry, your own stop loss, your own execution. You have to manage it based on what you think is right. And that's ultimately how you're going to learn. He said, if I just copy and pasted him, well, when I transition to real money, am I going to just continue to copy and paste him throughout my entire career? Or am I going to become independent at some point? And he instilled this concept very early in my trading, where even if I take the same trade as him, I have to execute it on my own. And you need to understand that every trader is a little bit different. We all have different styles. For example, my dad and I trade completely differently. We have completely different styles, even though he's the one who mentored me. He's the one who taught me. And without developing your own style, you're never really going to truly become profitable, because everyone is a little bit different. The way that I like to think about it is like, let's take like LeBron or Steph Curry. They're both Hall of Fame basketball players. When they first started playing basketball early on in their life, they probably all learned the same fundamentals, the same dribbling, how to shoot, how to position yourself on the court, footwork. They learned the same basics, but the way they apply that foundation and those basics are completely different based on their own individual style, where Curry is much more of a shooter, obviously, and LeBron is a lot more of just like a genetic freak who can just like, amazing passer, score by the rim or whatever. You guys see what I'm saying? Where everyone has their own style, but we all learn the same foundation, and it's important to learn that style, and you'll never learn it by copying other people's call outs and just copy and pasting. Number 5, you want to approach trading with the same mindset and the same professionalism in which you would approach going to college or university. When you go to college, you're going to be investing tens of thousands of dollars in 4+ years of your life to get that degree and then get a job. You don't expect to just graduate and get a job, especially a high-paying job, after one semester. You're going into college with certain expectations. You're going to have to study for your exams. You're going to have to go to class. You probably need a few internships. You probably need a few kind of professor recommendations. You know what it takes to get that degree and then to get a high-paying job. Yet, I think 40% of day traders quit after the first month, and I think it was 80% quit after 2 years. Yet, a lot of those same people are going to college for 4+ years, spending $50,000 to $100,000 in tuition to not even be guaranteed a job. And those same people will laugh at you for pursuing trading, for dedicating more than 3 to 6 months learning how to trade. It doesn't make any sense. You need to approach trading with that same expectation, knowing that, hey, this is a process. This is going to take time to actually master. It's going to take time before I see the fruits of my labor, right? No one expects to make money 2 years into college. No, you need to get a job. Then you probably have to get internships, right? Then you need experience before you could start making good money out of school. It's the same thing with trading. You have to go into it with that expectation. More likely than not, you need a mentor to expedite the entire process, right? Like, imagine trying to become a self-taught doctor, learning from someone online how to become a doctor. No, you need to go to a real life institution. You need to take certain steps. You need to learn from other professional doctors. And same thing with trading. You need to ideally have a mentor who is consistently profitable and who you could trade with every single day. Like, imagine becoming a doctor without going to residency. Makes absolutely no sense. And I'm not even telling you that I need to be that mentor. It doesn't matter who it is. Just make sure they have have verified results and that you're able to trade live with him or her every single day. And if you do want to trade live with me, you want me to take you under my wing and personally mentor you, you could fill out the application in the description and we could see if this is a good fit. Let's go ahead and move on. Number 6, no one is coming to save you. Even if you do have the best mentor in the world, even if you're working with me, it doesn't matter who you work with, but even if you have the best mentorship, the best framework for your success, if you don't take full responsibility for your learning curve, for your mindset and your process, you're never going to find success. And we kind of already talked about this, but ultimately trading is a journey within yourself. It's you versus you versus your impulses, you versus your emotions and your psychology. No one can make you profitable but yourself. I can't do it. There isn't a mentor anywhere that can make you profitable by himself. You need to put in the work. You need to be consistent. You need to be disciplined. And you have to combine that consistency and discipline with raw experience and screen time. I think there are a lot of traders out there that market this idea that, oh, you only need to trade 1 to 2 hours a day. That's it. That is so misleading. Yeah, when you're a really elite level trader and you're really good, you're consistently profitable and you've been profitable for many years, yeah, it might only take a couple of hours a day to make money. But as a beginner, you need so much raw experience and screen time, right? You need the reps. You need to be in front of the screen looking at charts for several hours a day to start making money and to start mastering this, right? Like, how can you expect to become profitable if you don't have the screen time? You don't have that raw experience. You need experience. And this has nothing to do with talent or intelligence. I'm someone that's, I would say I have an average intelligence. I wasn't born with this God-given gift to trade. Honestly, what makes me such a good trader is because I have an insane work ethic, I'm consistent, and I never quit. Those are the 3 things that made me profitable. I'll tell you from experience, I've mentored a ton of students. My most successful students, and by the way, they are from all different walks of life. I have students that are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and it doesn't matter what prior experience they have, the students that are the most disciplined get the best results. There's such a high correlation between high discipline to success. And it doesn't matter, what your framework is, doesn't matter if you have the best mentor in the world. If you don't have that consistency, that discipline, that work ethic, and if you don't have that mindset where you're never going to quit, you will never find success. All right. Ultimately, no one is coming to save you. It's you versus you. And last but not least, number 7, you have to put yourself in a position to succeed with trading in the first place. And you're probably wondering why I have the US map here. And I want to show you a very key example. Let's imagine that you want to drive from California all the way to New York. What would you do to put yourself in the best position to get to New York as quickly and as efficiently as possible? Well, you're probably going to go on Google Maps and you're going to find the most optimal route. So you know exactly which exits to take, you know which highways to go on, and you know that if you follow the most optimal route, you follow the framework to get to California, to New York as quickly as possible, all you need to do is put in the hours in your car driving. And you know that as long as you put in that time driving, you will eventually get to New York. Now, let's say instead you aimlessly leave California, you don't know which direction you're heading in, you don't have an optimal route, and you just kind of guess and you don't know where you're going and you're just kind of aimlessly driving. Well, you might end up getting to New York, but it's going to take you weeks longer, and maybe you might not even get to New York. You might end up driving and then you get lost and you end up in Montana, and then you're like, okay, well, whatever. I quit the road trip to New York. I'm just going to settle down in Montana, right? And this is unfortunately what most traders do. They don't have a clear framework, a clear path to success. Instead, they look at YouTube videos, they download random PDFs, they bounce from strategy to strategy, and they approach trading aimlessly without a framework for their success, without a plan. You don't want to do that. You need a clear path, an optimal route to your own trading success. So all you have to do from there is just put in the time, put in the hours, put in the work, and you know as long as you put in that work, you will eventually become a profitable trader because you have the right framework. And to do that, what you need is to focus on the education, build the foundation for your trading. Watch my free course for that. Don't bounce from strategy to strategy. Focus on one methodology and mastering that methodology. Ideally, you should be trading live with your mentor every single day. Not even saying that has to be me. It doesn't matter who your mentor is. Just make sure you have one because it's going to expedite the entire process. Make sure you go into trading with the right expectations, right? If you're going from California to New York, you're not going into that trip thinking you're going to get there in 6 hours. If you did, well, of course you're going to fail because you don't have, proper expectations. You can't get to California to New York in 6 hours, just like you can't become a consistently profitable trader over 2 weeks, right? Same idea. And then be consistent and never give up. How can you possibly succeed if you're not disciplined, you're not consistent, and you're not, resilient along the entire way? So hopefully this makes sense. You have to put yourself in a position to succeed in the first place. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, leave a comment if you found it valuable, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you guys.